Plus, News Does Reviews checks out a local spot serving bao buns. Also ahead, voices being heard at Centennial with the Northeastern Walkout, a look above Snell Library at new rooftop planting, and a quick look at the weekend forecast. This is the Husky Update.
Good evening, I'm Fresno Swindle.
And I'm Laron Bruner.
And welcome to the Husky Update, your source for broadcast coverage here at Northeastern and around the world. Thank you for joining us this evening.
We begin tonight with a coordinated demonstration on campus. NUTV's Elizabeth Chalmers is live in the studio with more.
That's right, Laron. At 2 p.m. this past Tuesday, hundreds of students, professors, and Bostonians met on Centennial Quad just outside Ruggles and marched towards the Museum of Fine Arts. The demonstrators held handmade signs and gave rallying speeches criticizing the Trump administration and specifically its use of ICE. I followed the protests as they traveled across the Northeastern campus in a walkout aimed at commemorating, quote, all that we have lost during the first year of the Trump administration.
We are gathered here today, along with thousands all over the country, to walk out from fascism, from brutality, from the Gestapo tactics of a desperate band of despots, and walk with and for each other to a different future.
The walkout is a part of a larger initiative by the Women's March to get students and cities to, quote, walk away from fascism.
It's a walkout against fascism and towards freedom. Really people stepping up and stepping away from fascism, saying no more business as usual. Things are critical. We need to fight with and for each other and turn this country around.
Susanna Walters, the professor and director of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies here at Northeastern, was at the head of the campus walkout, rallying everyone together with a speech before marching.
We walk out to say we cannot go on with business as usual when the business is government-sanctioned murder of young mothers in their cars. We cannot go on with business as usual when the business is forcing women to have children against their will and criminalizing reproductive health care.
But it wasn't just professors at the event, it was students too.
This means a lot to me, coming from certain communities, or coming from male certain communities, and it just feels good to know that I'm not alone, that what's going on is not okay, and I'm not crazy. Other people know that this is not okay, and we're creating a space to network and organize.
Attendees marched across the campus to a field by the MFA. Boston police blocked cars from the protesters and surveyed the event. Once the group stopped, several students were called to the front to give speeches.
As a Northeastern student, Roxbury community member, and student leader, I have come to recognize the university has had the tendency to quietly comply with the current presidential administration, offering broad statements that lack clarity or a definitive stance in moments of uncertainty.
Following every speech, there was a rallying cry of support from the crowd. And the main message?
People united will never be defeated.
People united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Live in studio, I'm Elizabeth Chalmers, NUTV News.
In 2026, ICE has escalated its presence in a number of major U.S. cities. Its expansion into Minneapolis has been marked by high rates of violence against city residents, including the murder of Renee Good and the kidnapping of 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos. This has led to increased organized resistance, culminating today in a citywide general strike, including 500 local businesses to protest the occupation by ICE.
According to local officials, 14 arrests were made by ICE in Brockton and Framingham, Massachusetts last weekend. Many of the detainees were Ecuadorian nationals accused of illegally entering the United States. One man has petitioned his arrest, having been covered by a class action lawsuit filed against ICE.
This past fall, the Rooftop Rangers started a sustainable initiative to test making campus just a little more green. I spoke with some of the organizers in this week's STEM Spotlight.
So we're a New Greens / the Rooftop Rangers. That's the name of our team.
I'm a member of the Rooftop Rangers, which is a group that came out of the Student Sustainability Committee in January. It was a total shot in the dark. Actually, one of our members just recently sent an image of like the startup curve, which is like there's all this hype and then reality hits, and then it's like an uphill climb from there. And that's kind of what it's been like, because the Sustainability Innovation Pitch Week was in February, and that's like just pie in the sky ideas. You can pitch whatever you want, and we thought, hey, maybe we can try this green roofs thing. And then we actually met Davis Brookhart, who's in the provost's office, and he said, you could actually make this a real thing. And so then reality hits. We work with administration, who were really supportive, by the way. And come this October, we were actually able to plant these, the sedum by the Mugar plots and actually start this pilot green roofing project.
Personally, I've never had to experience like freeze versus like heating cycles. So for me, I don't know, as the engineer of this project, how we're going to be recording data throughout snow flurries, and now expecting like we're going to have to cover it up and implement concrete over here and constantly be switching things around. So within all the different variables, how are we going to produce such solid metrics that we can make an argument to actual school administration?
There's 3 things specifically that we're working on that we're really excited about. The first is the educational component. So earlier I talked about why green roofs are so important. You could be doing a million other things. Well, not only are they aesthetic, but they save energy. They also inspire students to remember why nature is so important. So you don't forget that, hey, you're in a city, there's no trees here. Well, you know, nature does still exist. So that's a big thing, and the energy savings associated with that. So the educational component is the first thing. The second thing is this pitch to administration to, when moving forward, especially since we have contacts at PREF now, who's like the landscaping, planning, real estate, and facilities team, for future buildings, install green roofs and make that a part of the planning in the future, right? So that's the second piece, and that would be putting together a presentation based off the data we collect from our sensors from this pilot experiment. And then the third thing is inspiring other campuses to do the same. So recently we went to the SSLS conference, which is a sustainability symposium hosted at UMass Dartmouth, and we met with around 8 to 10 other schools, and we had some interest expressed from groups like MIT Farm and some groups at Boston University. So we will be, I hate to say it, collaborating probably with Boston University and MIT, hopefully, to launch their own maybe chapters of the Rooftop Rangers at their respective universities. And so
I would really encourage you guys to just get involved and try and speak to us, and just as we continue through this progress, we're going to have like placards and actual signs to see like what's going on. And if we're trying to build a community, that means you guys have to put in effort too.
Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has announced her re-election campaign for governor. Healey, who was first elected in 2022, released a video Tuesday saying she is running to lower costs, make life better, and stand up to Donald Trump. Healey also announced current Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll as her running mate. Healey is running against 3 Republican challengers. The primary election is scheduled for September 1st and the general election on November 3rd.
Continuing on those promises, Governor Healey also delivered her 3rd State of the Commonwealth address. Last night, NUTV's Andrew Longo has the story.
On Thursday night, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey delivered her 3rd State of the Commonwealth address, outlining the work of her administration over the past year, but placing a special emphasis on lowering costs and fighting President Trump.
Good evening, Massachusetts.
Governor Healey making a stand.
I was a prosecutor and attorney general, and I can tell you, none of this makes us safer. It doesn't need to be this way. It needs to stop. Enough is enough.
Against the nationwide immigration crackdown and what she perceives as overreach by the Trump administration.
A woman is dead. Others have been shot. Innocent people detained. Mothers and fathers ripped out of their cars with their young kids tugging at their sides.
Also addressing the high cost of living in the state.
My focus is you. What matters in your life. It starts with lowering costs and making life more affordable.
Announcing her administration will be paying to reduce the bills of every residential utility customer.
So tonight, I'm announcing that in February and March, we'll cut your electric bills by 25% and your gas bills by 10%.
An issue her constituents say needs to be addressed.
It's one of the most expensive cities to live in the country. So I would say Massachusetts is not affordable to live in.
But the solution is less known.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. I don't know what the solution is, but I've seen, I lived in Somerville for 5 years, and every year especially electric price would grow and grow.
And while the governor delivered her address inside, it was a relatively quiet night here outside the State House, possibly a good sign for the governor, who announced this week that she'll be running for re-election in November. At the State House, Andrew Longo, NUTV News.
Now we turn back to NUTV's Elizabeth Chalmers for your full weather report on what may turn out to be a especially snowy weekend.
Good evening, Huskies. I hope you've been staying warm lately. I know it's been a chilly couple of days, but how about that nice 40-degree weather yesterday? That was fantastic. Unfortunately, that's going to be the last of our above freezing weather for a while, as the low tonight is 9 degrees, and for tomorrow, a staggering 1 degree Fahrenheit. And the highs aren't all that high, with 14 degrees on Saturday and a high of 29 on Sunday. Now the low Sunday is 5 degrees, and Monday a bit kinder, 14 degrees. However, we are expecting snow this weekend, as I'm sure you are all very well aware of. In terms of Monday, it's not a question of if it snows, but exactly how much. NBC Boston reports anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, but I'm sure many of us are debating if we might get even more. Throughout the rest of the week, highs stay pretty consistent around the high teens and low 20s. Lows are a starking 6, 4, and -3 degrees. So I hope you all bundle up, especially those of us from out of state who are from the South like me. I'm rooting for us, guys. And with that, I wish you all a pleasant, warm, and safe week.
Well, last week, the Northeastern's women's hockey team faced off in the Beanpot consolation game. NUTV's Cassandra Joyce was there to take in all the action.
Northeastern's winter sports are in full swing as we reach the end of January. Last night was a tough one for Northeastern sports, as men's basketball lost to the Stony Brook Seawolves 95-80, and men's hockey fell to Merrimack 4-1. The men's basketball team has struggled recently, only winning 1 game in its last 6, as many of the team's key players are injured. However, in their absence, junior guard William Kermery and freshman forward Xavier Abreu have been stepping up big for the Huskies. Men's hockey is another team that has struggled as the season has gone on. After starting 10-5, the Huskies now sit at a 12-10 record after losing 5 straight games, including the team's last 2 at Matthews Arena. The Huskies did sweep the University of New Hampshire this past weekend and have 2 games left before the first round of Beanpot against the Boston University Terriers February 2nd. Speaking of Beanpot, the women's hockey team took home 3rd in the tournament after defeating Boston College 3-2. The Huskies' goals were scored by Lily Shannon, Stricker Zablocki, and Eloise Caron, and Lisa Johnson had 27 saves. Women's hockey is playing the University of Connecticut this weekend in a battle of the Huskies. Although they may not have a winning record, the women's basketball team has doubled the amount of wins they had last season after beating Hofstra on Sunday 62-60. Transfers Cameron Collins, Justice Tramble, Morgan Matthews, and Nariah Simmons have been huge for the Huskies' new improvements, and returners Yursi Khalise, Taylor Holohan, and Alyssa Staten have used their experience to propel the team forward. Swim and Dive has its senior day meet tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Barletta Natatorium against Stony Brook after splitting the Tate Ramsden Invitational against UMass and Dartmouth. Be sure to cheer on the Huskies at the pool.
The College Football National Championship took place in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami on Monday. The Indianapolis Hoosiers faced off against the Miami Hurricane in a competitive and exciting game. The Indiana Hoosiers, led by Heisman-winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza, won their first championship in program history, completing a perfect 16-0 season, being the first team to do so since the 2019 LSU Tigers. A late resurgence from Miami quarterback Carson Beck and wide receiver Malachi Toney brought the game down to 1 possession in the 4th quarter. On 4th and down and 5, Mendoza made an incredible 12-yard touchdown run to solidify the Hoosiers' lead. With 2 minutes left and down by 6, Beck had the chance to win it, but threw an interception that cost them the game. A hard-fought victory for Indiana in the end to a fairy tale season for Mendoza, the projected first pick in this year's NFL draft.
And of course, the New England Patriots will travel to Denver to take on the Broncos in the 2026 AFC Championship. On the line, a trip to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California. This marks the 15th year that either the Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs have played in the conference championship. MVP finalist Drake May is looking to lead his team back to the summit after a 7-year drought. The Broncos will be without star quarterback Bo Nix, who suffered an ankle injury in the second to last play of his team's 33-30 overtime victory against the Buffalo Bills.
As you know, Northeastern's historic Matthews Arena shut its doors permanently this fall and will undergo a complete renovation. NUTV's Selena Budd and Brianna Adele explore what the arena meant to Northeastern and to Boston.
So she stands as proudly now as she did on April 16, 1910, when she opened her doors to one and all.
It has a rich history. There are people who can remember Matthews Arena way back, and it's nostalgic to think about the arena in a fond way.
I feel like it's not just an important part of Northeastern's history, it's an important part of Boston's history.
It's unlike any other building in the city of this size, and everyone has a story about Matthews Arena or the Boston Arena. And so it's special.
I mean, I love Matthews Arena. It's historic, it's fantastic. I walk through that door and I get awe. Well, you do know Matthews Arena is the oldest multi-purpose rink in the world. Okay, that means that we don't just do ice, we do other events. So we were built in 1910. So it's 2 years older than Fenway Park.
You know, it predates the Boston Garden by 18 years. The Bruins first played here from 24 to 28. And then all the political rallies that took place, you know, in Matthews Arena, the Boston Arena, from the presidents of Wilson and Taft, FDR, JFK, President Clinton. I mean, it just has so much history from the presidential side. And then all the different athletic events from boxing to wrestling matches, obviously plenty of hockey matches. The university took it over in late 70s, 1979, when it was in disrepair, and kept it going and allowed it to flourish for another 7 years almost.
It's definitely seen better days, but I feel like because it's such a big part of Boston history, with not just Northeastern, you know, professional sports and rock, like they had Bob Dylan there. They just had a lot of like different.
That's Atlanta, though. That's Georgia. She's shushing us. What? Oh, okay. Anthro New England is an annual furry convention held in Seaport and is one of the top 10 largest conventions of its kind in the world. A team of NUTV reporters attended last week. Take a look.
With NUTV News, I'm Annie Jones, and we're here at Anthro New England, an annual furry convention held at the Westin in Seaport. We're talking to staff and attendees to learn how this convention drew thousands of guests this year.
So this convention was started in 2014 with the inaugural one in January of 2015. They've moved a few times and have stayed here for the past 4 years. After COVID, it's really shot up in numbers. I believe the past few years, it's added around 1,000 new attendees each time, and this one is no different.
Furry conventions have existed since the 80s, but they've really started taking off, and they started to get like a lot more locations, started to get conventions in the 2010s. And I had always thought it would be really cool for New England, and it's been a huge success. This is now one of the top 10 largest furry conventions in the world.
This convention is in Boston, which is local to Northeastern, so it's really easy to get here. And a lot of other conventions that I'll have to go to, I'll have to like book a hotel room or something, but I can just commute from home, and it's a lot easier, which is why I like this con so much. If you're a furry, if you're interested in Furry Club, come by L Hall 311 at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. We meet every week. It's a really fun time, and if you're ever considering coming to Anthro New England too, I highly recommend it.
With NUTV News, I'm Annie Jones.
Bao Bao Bakery is a local hidden gem tucked away in Chinatown. I led a group of NUTV reporters to check it out and try some delicious treats.
Hi, my name is Kate Gunther and I'm here with NUTV. Today we are rating pastries from Bao Bao Bakery.
I'm Nicole. We ordered the honey citrus cake and we also ordered the almond cookie chips.
I am Danny and we ordered the ube crepe cake and the brown sugar cream puff.
Hi, I'm Kate. We also ordered the scallion pork bun and an egg tart.
Hi, I'm Sophia and we ordered the pineapple cream bun.
My favorite is the honey citrus bun and I rate it a 5 out of 5 Huskies.
My favorite was the ube crepe cake and I rated it a 4 out of 5 Huskies.
My favorite was the scallion pork bun and I rated a 4 out of 5 Huskies.
My favorite was the honey citrus cake and I rated 4 out of 5 Huskies.
My favorite was the brown sugar boba cream puff and I would rate it 4 out of 5 Huskies.
Finally, tonight, we turn to our field reporter, Paige Williams, who is live in New York City outside Madison Square Garden with some updates on pop culture. Paige?
Follow me. Wait, tell you when. I'll tell you when.
We apologize. We had some technical difficulties. Now going live to Paige.
Well, maybe 2026, everyone is living for 2016. People are flocking to social media to share their favorite memories and nostalgia of the year. Everything from Justin Bieber, Kylie Kiss, the Chainsmokers, and the Rio Olympics. Forget 1999, let's party like it's 2016. It's right for Hollywood as Oscar nominations were announced earlier this week. Ryan Coogler's Sinners, the horror epic, nominated categories with acting nods to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. Notable snubs this time around were Wicked's Crooked for Good, and An Acting Not Expected from Paul Mescal. Among other nominees, The Marty Supreme, The Secret Agent, Train Dreams, and Hamnet for Best Picture. And finally, Madison Square Garden will be Harry's house once again. The British rocker recently announced on the 8-day World Tour with a 30-show residency here in New York City at the iconic arena. Last night, Harry Styles released his first single of the album called Aperture, on the album being called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. Styles' long-awaited return comes after a 4-year hiatus, leaving fans very excited for this next chapter. From New York City, I'm Paige Williams, NUTV News.
Thanks, Paige. That's the news. The rest is up to you. Be sure to follow our Instagram page and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with us. You can find tonight's stories in full at northeasterntv.com/news. I'm Laron Bruner.
And I'm Fresno Swindle. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again for a special Thursday evening edition of the Husky Update on February 6th. Have a great night.